Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us for episode number 1 of the Off Key podcast. Now, as you know, this is our very first episode. Thank you for joining us wherever you are. If you're live with us, we really appreciate it. I'm your host, Severo from Severo Music Studios. And if you didn't catch this podcast live, you can catch it on Chapter 1 radio. You can see the details afterwards for details. Now, for episode 1, I thought I'd bring in a person that I probably speak to the most when it comes to entertainment or just anything that interests us. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Mr. Josh Peters.
How you doing?
Yeah, come on. So thanks for coming in. I think let's start off by just thinking now how we actually met.
How did we meet actually? Because I think I met you, but then I introduced myself to you the second time I met you, if I'm not mistaken. So I think I met you I think it was my church.
Yes.
Was it?
Yeah.
I think it was like a gospel afternoon or something.
That was the first time, yeah.
I don't know if I met you then, but I don't know if I introduced myself to you then, but
No.
I know we met.
Sort of informally, and I do remember sometimes, which is a shout out by the way to the St. Anne's Church in Steenberg, that I was playing at Gospel Afternoon, and that was a new experience for me. That was actually the gig that really took my gospel thing to new heights, or just performance overall.
Yeah, I remember you told me about it because this is when I knew it was gonna be a good gig for you. Particularly is because we were doing sound check. We had to come a bit earlier, and then you were doing your sound check, and then everyone's ears just flipped, and we're like, "Who is that guy playing sax?"
Really?
Yes, legitimate. Like
This was like 2012, I think.
maybe 2012, 2013 around there. Yeah.
I just remember like 2015 was probably my best year.
Maybe it was 2015 even. I mean, it was 5, 6, 7 years ago maybe.
Yeah, because I came there more than once.
Yes.
But I also remember coming to the services, because that's actually my father's church, the St. Anne's, because he's Catholic, I'm not, but anyway. And I remember sitting up at the top.
Yeah, that's where we usually play.
That's where the band is located, at the top of the, what can you say, top of the congregation. There's another level.
It's called the balcony.
Basically, the balcony, yeah. And I just remember this guy on guitar and lead guitar just doing these really cool licks and riffs. I'm like, man, this guy's pretty good. And I can't remember where I actually introduced myself or where you introduced yourself, but
We've met a few times
we've
prior to that.
met a couple of times, and you've only performed for Music and Motion once.
Which is a surprise considering how much we speak and how much we actually talk to each other on a daily basis.
Yeah, how much
Which
we
is
did.
the weird thing. I had to do it again.
We didn't talk as much as we did, up to that point, but
Yes.
after that,
Yeah.
we spoke like non-stop.
Yeah, and it's weird that I only played one Music in Motion. Which I don't understand that, but I mean,
You only played one Music in Motion, but luckily you actually, in my opinion, played on the best year that we actually had.
I would say so because I mean, look, if you look at the artists that they had up that year, it was like insanely good.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed myself that year because I remember it wasn't just the whole playing experience, which was the cool thing. It was more also like the backstage, like the banter between everyone. Everyone had having a good time, everyone was jamming backstage. That was the cool thing about it.
Right. Now, besides that, now I actually wanted to ask you, how did actually Indecisive come about? Now, I knew you and Alex are actually both in the
Yep.
band, in the church band. Where did the rest come in?
Okay, so let me just explain to everyone what Indecisive is. So Indecisive is my band, Alex's band, Manny's band, Jared, Ethan's band that started last year in January. Alex gave me a call about December 2019 and was saying, look, there's a gig available, strap to us, want to do it? I was like, yeah, let's do it.
Stratos, yeah.
Not thinking that, let's start a band. I just thought, let's do it for, the fun of it.
Mm-hmm.
So then we called a buddy of ours, Manny, who used to be at our church. And he's our drummer. And, we started rehearsing with him. And then we called another buddy of ours who's no longer playing with us, Nathaniel, who played keys with us.
Right.
And we went into it doing just instrumentals for 45 minutes. And the name Indecisive was also a funny one because we came up with the name because we couldn't think of anything. And we were literally indecisive on what to choose.
Okay.
So that's how the name came about. Because the day of the gig, we were still thinking, guys, what are we going to call our band? We can't be indecisive. I was like, oh yeah, we can.
We can
be indecisive.
That is genius.
So yeah, that's how it literally came about. And yeah, we've been obviously like lockdown, COVID, hit, and we were put on hold, but we were still rehearsing after our first 5-6 gigs that we did last year, and I mean we're still going strong. Like, we're gonna start rehearsing again now, hopefully next month, and we have a few things coming up. I'm not gonna say too much, but we have a few more things that's going to be shown to the public very soon.
Yeah, no, that's great. And you've been asking me also in and out to try and work with you guys, do
Yes,
a bit
but
of filming
we'll-
and recording, make an
Yeah.
episode.
It's gonna happen. It has to happen.
That's gonna happen.
I mean, it's been 6-7 years of friendship, but it has to happen at some point.
Right. No, definitely. Ladies and gentlemen, we already have about 5 likes, hearts and thumbs up at this point, and we have a dozen people watching at
That's
this
cool.
point. And Robin Stevens,
I was, one of our buddies.
one of your buddies, just posted hearts. Just posted some hearts there. People, everyone that is watching, please feel free to interact with us at any time. We will keep, on the page and try and answer any questions if you're curious about anything at all. Cindy Mayer says, "Hey, Joshy."
That's my cousin.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I definitely thought, I have to bring in this guy as my number one guest because, like I said, we just talk about anything and everything just for the sake of talking about it. From the most ridiculous things to the most profound things as well.
Yeah, we don't know where this is going, to be fair.
Yeah, exactly. Now, let's just get on to also one of our favorite subjects here, and that's comedy.
Yeah.
Right? The greats. Could be pointed out.
Dave Chappelle, Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy, that order.
Right. Notice one thing though?
Eddie Griffin was in.
No, they're all black.
Yeah.
Why is it that?
Look, so I think comedy comes from hardship,
Right.
and I think a lot of those guys had hardship growing up.
By the way, for legal reasons, we are drinking Coke.
Yeah, yes, mom. Mommy, I'm thinking, okay, happy birthday also to you. So yeah, we are, I think the best comedy comes from hardship and pain, and I think a lot of those guys, black comedians, are suffering from a lot of pain and hardship. So to joke about it, I think, is the reason why you get the best comedy out of it. I think that's why in this country, Trevor Noah is the biggest comedian, is because he suffered through all those hardships and pain and agony. And if you look at all the comedians, the best comedians out there, they've been through the same type of, they can all relate to something very similar. And they've all gone through the similar experiences. All, for the most part, poor, bad communities, gang violence, so to joke about that, and a lot of other people who's the audience can relate to it, so they also laugh about it. They feel the inside joke. So I think that is why you see so many of those guys coming up and being on that level.
Right. Now, do you think how does one actually cross the barrier? Because those things are relatable, and not to be racist, but mainly to the more of the color community.
Yeah.
Right. Not to obviously discriminate to anyone who's black, who's probably grew up in the same neighborhoods as mixed race or whatever. But if we talk about maybe Kevin Hart, I've seen how he's actually kind of transitioned from being, and I think it's true, he was like barbershop funny.
Yeah.
With those kind of jokes, where now even soccer moms can listen to the guy.
Yeah. So I think, I don't know how we got to that point. But Dave Chappelle's like that as well. Dave Chappelle also transitioned from that.
That's genius, though.
Yeah, I think what it is that why people come back to Kevin Hart and why barbershop, it's still not barbershop comedy, but a lot of people from barbershops will still listen to Kevin Hart, is because he still kept that personality of being from the hood.
Yeah,
and so did Dave Chappelle, to be fair to him. They never forgot where they came from. Trevor Noah still make jokes about the townships. They never forgot where he came from, even though he talks about going to all these events like balls and all that type of stuff in Hollywood and sit next to Rihanna and Beyonce. They still kept that personality of being where they're from, and they never forgot about that. And I think that's how they kept their core audience, and they grew their other audiences. They grew their audience by talking about the experiences in Hollywood, in these more upper class areas, and they basically spoke to that people, but they also told their people from their communities, look, this is what's happening on this side.
It's always actually great to tell people who are kind of oblivious to the kind of different livings to just to see people's reactions.
Yeah.
Now, how do you think one actually stays that way? Remember, I'm sure as musicians or anyone in entertainment hears it all the time from people who listen or see us. don't forget about us when you're famous.
Yeah.
How do you think one actually stays humble and still true to your roots?
That's a hard question.
Because none of us can actually judge until we're there.
As I say, I can't answer that question because I'm not there. I don't think I'm ever going to be on that level. I hope I don't. I don't want to be on that level. I don't want to be famous. But I think it literally just has to do with, my cousin always says, keep yourself flat.
Yeah.
And I think that's literally all it has to do with, is remembering where you come from.
So how to keep yourself grounded? Because, I mean, once you get into the industry and... Because when you start out, you're all about yourself.
Yeah.
Right? You do almost everything yourself. But when you start getting people who are now your resources, doing everything for you, speaking for you, thinking for you, you don't know almost who to believe. And that's how, I think so many musicians and entertainers fall off the wagons because... And then they don't trust anymore. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, Hendrix fell off like that, to be fair.
Exactly. But talking about now, Hendrix and his influence guitar and all that. What actually led you onto the electric guitar?
So
I hear so much when I see your posting that on WhatsApp. By the way, guys, you know what to expect when you see this guy's post on WhatsApp. Sometimes when you're practicing all that.
Yeah.
I hear a lot of the influential kind of rock guys and that, especially when we had jam sessions over here and you decide to just axe out.
So I will literally say it. I wouldn't be the first person to say it. I've been ripping off Jimi Hendrix since I was 13.
Wow.
So you ask now, where did the electric guitar come from? Why did I decide to start? So I don't know, like I've always had this fascination with music and I've always wanted to be a guitarist, I think from a young age. I would sit, by the time I was 2, 3, in the lounge listening to George Benson, watching George Benson concerts, watching Michael Jackson concerts, and just literally sitting there. My parents would be outside the lounge, I would be in there, like just fascinated by what's going on. And my dad will vouch me on this one. I always had that fascination with it, and it came to a point where I saw, my cousins are getting into this. My 4 cousins were playing instruments. My cousin Mark's playing guitar, cousin Devin playing keys, cousin Java playing drums, my cousin Tomei playing flute.
What's your cousin Mark's surname?
Henry, you into Berkeley.
Mark Henry says, hey Joshua.
Okay, so he's here as well.
Everyone, Cindy, Maya, Mark Henry, Matthew, Minis, Alex, Margaret, Mark Henry again, Regan. Hey Lisa. It's Lisa B. Everyone, we hear you, and again, feel free to ask any questions as we go along.
Yeah, so as I said, my cousins were playing and they were jamming in my mom's lounge. I was like, okay, I want to get involved in this. And I was like 10, 11 at the time, and I was watching them and I was like, I want to get involved in this somehow. And then just before my 13th birthday, I told my parents, look, I want to play. I'm interested, I want to do this. And I've been telling them that for a few years already. And then on my 13th birthday, they got me a guitar, and I've never looked back since.
What was your first guitar?
It was a chord strat type of thing.
Really? So you actually started with an electric?
Yeah, so it wasn't the acoustic, then transition to electric. Electric. Which is what I wanted in the first place. I've always looked up to George Benson, and that was the guitar I wanted to model myself after, but obviously as time went on, it kind of faded away from that.
It is sort of how things go, that at least that's when you are taught. When you have like official lessons, you always start off as classically trained.
Classically trained, or you start off acoustic and you learn the basic strumming patterns.
But now that's the thing with like many instruments, right? And I feel this guy that I follow, I can't remember now on YouTube, but I think it's called Better Sax, is that when a person thinks of a saxophone, what do you think about?
Kenny G,
or jazz, things like that. And that's what majority of people want to go into when they start with saxophone, right? But for the first couple of years, especially when getting lessons, because you can't just learn from anyone, unlike a guitarist, you know what I'm saying? It's so much more common, and there's many ways you can learn. But so many, especially within schools, when you start with saxophone, trumpet, any kind of brass instrument, whatever, for your first years, whatever, you're playing mainly classical.
Yeah.
Especially for your exams and things.
Oh yeah, so I wasn't I'm not classically trained. I know nothing about music theory. I know absolutely, like, when it comes, I know like triads and stuff, but that's as far as I go.
Right.
Yeah, like I did it weird because I started playing like my birthday's in August. I started playing in September, like getting lessons. I stopped taking lessons in January
Right.
the next year. But it comes to August the next year, I'm playing with my school band, playing jazz songs
Right.
and playing pop music. So
Yeah.
like I had a very weird transition from practicing to playing live in front of people. And the first gig I did was in front of like 600 people.
Your very first
My
gig.
very first gig, I played in front of 600 people.
Okay, what's my very first gig? I don't know. I was maybe probably before my teens, but I was still on the recorder, and that was in front of my family. There was about, I don't know, 6 or 7 of them, because they'd always play the cara on the Friday night.
Also one of those. Okay, fine.
You know,
I understand where you're coming from.
and I asked if they have any requests of my repertoire of about 5 songs at the time. Yeah, that's how I started out. But like I was saying about the lessons and that, I think it should be changed at least. I'm not saying it's taught wrong, and it's not like the methods are wrong. And obviously no disrespect, obviously, to people who do classical and all that, who train classical and teach classical. But I mean, when someone is actually maybe a student of, sax and whatever, they should, okay, we get exposed to everything through learning,
Yeah.
but everyone wants to play like jazz music, whatever.
Yeah.
But so how is it that for your first couple of years, it's maybe gonna bore you still playing these kind of Thai things? It wasn't until, I mean, I can't obviously stress this enough. Knowing your fundamentals, like your scales, your keys, and everything, is fundamental in being a good musician. And
Yeah.
practicing.
Yeah.
Practicing is the number
I
one
wish
thing.
I had done that. Like, this is why I said, like, why I've been doing that for the last year. I think I told you about this. I've been going back to basics. Because a lot of the things that I should have learned in the beginning, I
Right.
didn't.
Right.
Because I was too focused on just going straight into the songs that,
Right.
that people are going to like and people are going to relate to. I didn't go through all that do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, bull crap.
Yeah.
I stayed doing what I wanted to do, and it helped. To be fair, I got to play songs, I got to do gigs, I got to get exposure, but I never understood what I was doing until like the last 2 years, where I've actually been sitting down and understanding what I've been playing.
Now I got it kind of the other way around.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm only ever grateful that I have that kind of knowledge, and it's instilled in me like it was.
Yeah.
Like you get through classical training, but still the stuff that I played back then has almost nothing to do of how I
Yeah.
perform
No,
now.
that is true. But I mean, you learned at least, like you understood what you were playing.
It's almost like school and that,
Yeah.
everything you were taught.
It's like learning English almost. Like you're not thinking now, is this a noun or participle? I don't care about that. You're
Exactly.
just speaking. But now, as you're playing, you don't think about it. I'm
No,
assuming.
but I don't need Shakespeare now, do I?
No, you don't. But I mean, do you need music theory though?
Depends.
That also does depend. You might need Shakespeare in your life. Who knows? It might come up.
But I also do want to bring someone who's going to be a guest. Stay tuned for this, because this always gets really interesting for me. I do want to bring in someone who is classically trained and just compare
Who is this now?
the different worlds. I don't know. I'm gonna have a guest soon. I have people in mind.
Okay, you can tell me off here.
I will tell you off air. But this is also an appeal. If you would really like to be a guest and you are classically trained and that's the way you do things, I would really love to have you in studio, and we can discuss, between people who do kind of pop music and, other genres and classical. Because did you know, I mean, I didn't know up until, I don't know, maybe about 4 or 5 years ago, that you actually get classical saxophonists.
Yeah, I've never heard of that.
I didn't really know that it was actually a thing like it actually is.
Like I think operas,
They
theaters
in
and stuff like that.
they in
and-
orchestras. No, it's not like they play lead,
Okay, explain.
but they're in a huge ensemble and things like that. And maybe they'll stand up for this little solo, but
Okay, I didn't know that's a thing.
that is a thing in classical saxophonists.
But I mean, look, to any classical musicians out there, please don't be hard on us who don't have classical experience.
Oh
Don't
man,
look down on us. You know what? We have had this conversation before, right?
we've had this conversation
So,
before. I was trying to lead
Look,
to
a
that.
lot of classically trained people look down on myself because I know nothing about scales and Dorian and Mixolydian.
I am sort of classically trained. I'm just bad at it.
Okay.
Okay.
So they look down on us because we don't know anything about it. Please, look, we love music and we just have that in common, that we just share the love of music. Can we just like keep that going?
Yeah, no, sometimes it really is hard, and I do feel sometimes intimidated because it is quite an intimidating
Yes,
thing.
exactly.
But I think we are a community, and we shouldn't actually like look down on each other. We should all actually uplift each other because
Yeah.
every kind of genre and every individual has something to bring to the table.
Yeah, like, and that's the thing. And I was actually wanted to say that, like, I've jammed with a lot of people through like the past 9 years that I've been playing.
Mm,
After every jam session, I've stolen something from the person that I jammed with
right.
by ear, either a lick or some type sort of feel that they have. I've taken a little bit from everywhere I've gone, and some of them I would say are not the greatest musicians in the world. Some of them are like outstanding musicians, but you learn from everywhere you are, and that's one thing that we all need to take into account. Don't go into a jam session. Don't go play with a musician and think you can learn nothing. There's always something to learn. Be open to learning. Because I don't care how good you are at music, there's no end of the line with music.
There is no end of the line. There's, what, 8 grades to music, but I mean, you never stop learning.
No, there's like 19, 11, 12, it goes on and on.
Right.
There's no end to it.
Exactly. You can get your masters, but you never stop
So,
learning.
yeah, be open to it also. If someone wants to show you something, be open to listening because you might take something out there that you could use. It could be the missing piece of maybe the song that you were writing, or maybe you were producing something and there was something missing in that you could use. Anything is possible. Literally, just take as much information as you can.
Sure.
I mean, a lot of the greats around us are passing now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No,
Like
exactly.
Van Halen died last year.
Shout out.
That not just that, but all the knowledge that he had, that's gone with him.
Right.
And we have to learn from the people that's around us. I mean, look, you might not rate any musician that you come across, but I mean, come on, just take something from them. There could be some brilliance in what they are saying, what they are doing.
I am influenced by every single one of the pioneers in the entertainment industry who were like the first to do things like Little Richard,
Yeah.
like Bruce Lee, like Bob Marley, like what's that freaking poet's name? Anyway,
Maya Angelou.
no,
I don't know. I'm done.
good example, but not who I was thinking of. So we have actually another question here, well, one question. By the way, Anthony,
I think it's Alex's dad, maybe.
yes, Indecisive is in the house. Thank you everyone for tuning in and supporting Indecisive. We'll get back onto that.
We will,
And
yes.
Lisa Stevens says Indecisive, heart emoji. No, sorry, flower emoji.
Flower emoji.
Sorry, old laptop that I'm looking at here. Lisa B. Good question. How do you manage your private life from your career, music, etc.?
So I'm a student, so like I don't. When it comes to Facebook and Instagram, I don't put any of my private life out there.
Me neither.
I'll maybe on Instagram I like post a picture or something, but I don't vlog everything that I do. I don't, post my whole life on there. My WhatsApp, as you can see, I do that a bit, but I mean it's not really like I'm
Exactly.
going to this place and this place, and I really feel like keep myself very introverted in that sense.
Right. I think we actually the same in that sense. Myself and Josh, and you'll see from me occasionally just a fun photo or something that I want to share. But everything else really is only like my music.
Yeah.
Really, otherwise there's nothing that much interesting about my life. We both also you single. Dude?
Yeah.
Yeah. We both single guys. So yeah. There's
Yeah,
not,
like what do you want to know about me? I'm from Retreat. what do you want to know?
we from the three. We single guys. We musicians. We create.
There's not much interesting going on. Like whatever's interesting in your life is not like that's like keep it to you. I mean, I don't care, like, to be honest. And I hope people don't care about what's going on in my personal life also on the
Right.
internet. I really hope that's the case.
Yeah, look, I do enjoy posting to my YouTube channel and all things like that, but it's not for other sort of kind of gratification. I don't have a life inside these social media platforms. It's just something that I do to promote.
Yeah, and that's basically what social media has become nowadays. Social media is your marketing campaign. That's what it has to be.
Exactly. All the social medias is just marketing for my music and that. So, Miss Lisa B, I hope that answers your question, and of course, hope to see you soon. Another one came in from Matthew Minis. Ooh, who would you like to most collaborate with?
Kanye.
Kanye.
Like if it comes to worldwide musicians, Kanye is the one.
Yeah. Now, I totally see it there. Now, a lot of people see his persona, this real kind of cocky guy, seems a bit beyond our what we can actually conceive of how he does things. But I mean, that is actually exactly the point.
Yeah.
We actually can't conceive of how far that guy's knowledge goes into his music.
Have you watched him on the Rogan's podcast?
I did watch the Joe Rogan podcast with Kanye, but I did not know how to feel about it.
So, look, if you watch that podcast with him, you can see he's going at a mile a minute.
Right.
Everything there's so much stuff going through his mind.
Right.
Now imagine he just focused on one thing, and that is just music. And you can see by the results of him, his music is insanely good. So, look, he might be crazy off air, he might be a good guy off air. I don't know who he is in person, but as a musician and as a producer, he's
exactly, that's what we're talking about. Yeah, exactly. What you may see, from his personality and whatever, may seem really out there.
Yeah.
But if you look into his music and actually how he does things, the guy is beyond whimsical.
I mean, I just learned like a few weeks ago. I don't know if you know that song by Drake, Find Your Love.
What about it?
You know it, right?
Right.
That's a Kanye produced beat. If you listen to it now, you'll be like, I get it. It's Kanye. You can hear Kanye in the beats he produces if you find it it's him. But then if you also listen to the song All of the Lights, it's like Elton John's in there.
Right.
Like, wait, I think Justin Timberlake might be in there also. It's like, what? Like, where did these people even come from? And that's Kanye's influence. I mean, Kanye is that good of a producer that he can get legends on a track. You got Kenny G in his last gospel album as well. Speaking of Kenny G earlier.
He did?
He did. I can't remember the song, but he got Kenny G to do a solo. Like, that's Kanye. Like,
Kenny G's relevance come back there just for a little bit. Sorry, Kenny G. No, I love you, Kenny G. I have every single one of your albums, but the best of Kenny G does not count as an album.
That's like the best of Judy Boucher as well.
If you haven't done anything in about a decade and you bring out the best of, okay.
Yeah, I just understand the situation.
Yeah. So what kind of things do you think, your band will actually make with Kanye? If you were to look like Indecisive and Kanye.
I do not know. Like, that's the thing. Like, Kanye, I think, has gone into more of the chilled out type of vibe now.
Right, he has transitioned now.
Yeah, but like, especially his music. I think you can see it in his music as well.
Absolutely.
And I think if we were going to do anything, I think it would be an instrumental heavy type of vibe. But I think with his producing behind it.
Yep.
Like, if you listen to Eminem albums, right?
Of course.
Like the beginning ones.
Yes, no, that's what I'm most loyal to. His early stuff.
If you hear, that's instrumental based. Like, there's guitars in it, there's bass in it, there's drums in it, and that's Dr. Dre's influence. Now, I think the same, like for us, it could be the same thing, but with Kanye. I'm not saying it's gonna happen. I highly doubt it's gonna happen.
Okay.
There's like 1 in a million of like chance of this happening, but I mean, it could be something.
A million is actually a small number if you look at it actually right now.
Yeah.
It's a small number, so that's actually a good chance.
That's a good chance. Kanye, hit me up in my DMs.
Follow Indecisive now. Replying to Matthew. Oh, so okay. No, that was just some interaction between our audience members going on our comments there. But again, people, we are totally open to any questions that you have. We're just trying to find any points of conversation here. But bring it back to, okay, we got about 17 views at the moment. Okay. That's a real good number. Now, since I'm going to be talking to a lot of guitarists. I don't want to, talk too much about it. But I mean, when I think about electric guitar, I mean, you brought up already Van Halen.
Yeah.
Right? I would also bring up probably Santana. Angus.
Yeah, Angus Young.
Yeah.
Hendrix has to be up there.
Hendrix
is the first person I think of when you think of electric guitar, in my opinion. He should be the first person everyone thinks of. He's the best guitarist that ever lived. And I will stand by that point.
He's the most influential, definitely.
Which makes him the best.
Right. Yes, in many respects.
I think from a technical standpoint, he's not the best. I think Steve Vai smokes more.
I was gonna say Steve Vai is probably one of my number one.
Yeah,
guys,
I think Steve Vai. I love Steve Vai's music. For the Love of God is one of the best songs I've ever heard in my life.
Yes.
But yeah, like Hendrix. Look, before Hendrix came along, there was rhythm, there was lead.
Exactly.
He meshed it together. He was the first one to do it. And if you look at Hendrix's style of play, that is the backbone of modern day R&B.
Yes, no, definitely. He definitely solidified and pioneered some key sounds that you hear nowadays.
Yeah.
He laid down line, as well as Zeppelin.
Yeah,
We can't forget Zeppelin.
You can't forget Zeppelin. Stairway to Heaven is one of the greatest songs ever written of all time.
The Forbidden Riff, right?
Yeah, you can't play. If you're a guitarist and you play Stairway to Heaven in a
in
music store, you'll be kicked out. You can't play it. It's sacrilege.
Well, I think that's more of like an American thing. I still actually want to try it over here.
I'm not gonna take the risk.
What do you think will happen? You actually like burst into flames. You know how that thing started.
Well, Wayne's World, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And people didn't just actually took it really seriously.
Yeah, but now it's like a serious thing. You don't do it.
Well, yeah, now it's a serious thing. You don't do it, and it was because obviously when they played it backwards.
Yeah.
Because okay, if people have heard about this little theory, conspiracy kind of thing, well, people's theory, their hypothesis, is that many of the rock bands back in the day, they believed they were all kind of satanic,
something along those lines. Yeah.
They all believe they sold their souls to the devil as if it's yours to give away like that. How do you actually do that? How do you sell it? It's not even yours to give away.
Put it on Gumtree or something.
Yeah, I'm like, it's worth so much. Got so many miles on it. Really broken, no used. But when playing and it was Stairway to Heaven, right?
It was Stairway to Heaven.
When playing the track backwards, this was back in the 80s or
70s,
late 70s, when they actually discovered it. When you played it backwards, in a couple of lyrics you'll hear "My Sweet Satan,"
something along those lines.
Something like that.
Yeah, it doesn't even sound like it.
It doesn't even sound like it, but that's what they heard.
It's
They're
like something like that. That sounds. It sounds exactly like that.
Yeah.
But like, so I don't know. But I think why it was banned, and it's because it's overplayed, and the reason why it's overplayed is because it's that good.
Right.
It's one of the best songs ever written, and any guitarist, that's a song you have to learn. That is the song you have to learn, the very first one.
It is, and it's not actually all that hard. Actually, as a guitarist,
it's really not that
the opening riff. No,
the opening riff's quite simple.
It's not. But thinking of like that sort of era or that kind of mode of guitar, I think when I hear electric guitar, I'm thinking that scene from the 1990 between 94 and 97, I think. Brandon Lee's The Crow.
That's a brilliant movie.
When he sat on top of the building and just that old battered old amp and just playing, and you just hear it from a distance. That is such.
It's iconic.
It's so iconic, and it's such a rock and roll kind of cliche. But I mean, it's what we all built our kind of image on when we first saw it.
The sort of musicians, what if you had a song, right, that was like the song for a certain image, you take that.
Yeah.
Like if you think of Eye of the Tiger, what do you think of? Rocky.
Eye of the Tiger, yeah, definitely.
You think of Rocky.
Yeah.
Like just think about how cool it is that your song is stuck to such an iconic movie.
Right.
And like, who doesn't want that?
Mm.
So I mean, like, I take that. I mean, I would do that in a heartbeat.
I think this is a fact that people don't know. Do you know that the group who did Eye of the Tiger, are they called Survivor or something like that?
Yeah, I think so.
Do you know it's the same people who did the Baywatch theme song?
Really?
Yeah.
That's weird.
I believe so. I think it's the same people who did the Baywatch theme song.
I don't see the lineup. I don't see where the lines up.
Well, I think.
Well, then again, both of them run just in one in slow motion, one upstairs.
Baywatch, how was that back in the day? That was like the best thing to see.
You never watched the Zac Efron one? So.
I was so looking forward to like David Hasselhoff and Pam Anderson doing an appearance,
and nothing.
And it was just so minute, you know.
Yeah.
I was waiting for the iconic music to play.
Yeah, but I mean, look, but it's the future. I mean, things have changed.
Yeah, things have changed. But you know, you always want some nostalgia.
Yeah, I mean, it's Baywatch, for example.
Exactly.
You can't not have that.
You can't not have something. But
it's like playing the Creed movie and Rocky not being in it, for example.
Exactly.
If you're gonna go back to Rocky and Baywatch, I don't know how this analogy came up. I don't agree. Rocky's way better than Baywatch will ever be.
No, definitely. Who would you prefer? Like, Sylvester Stallone asked his daughter this: who would you want as your father, Rocky or Rambo?
I'll take my dad, actually. My dad will give all the asses.
Interesting about Sylvester Stallone.
Rocky lost.
To who?
Mr. T. Didn't he get knocked out? No, the first time. He actually lost in the first time. He lost in the first movie.
No, Rocky always wins in the end.
Yeah, well, in the end, not in the beginning.
Well, no, he was too cocky then.
Even so, he lost.
Yeah, but
I'd rather take Rambo who's not cocky and shoots people.
no, but that was Mick's fault. By putting up, once he became champion, he put him up. He booked talent that were only minority kind of compared to him to keep his confidence up and all
Yeah,
that.
that is true. So, yeah, Rambo.
So Rambo, yeah, definitely.
Doesn't fight down, he fights up.
Yeah. No, true. I mean, I actually got, I don't know why, but I started watching a lot of Sylvester Stallone movies in the past couple of months.
What are you desperate for movies or something? Like,
I
do you need series to watch or something?
I
Like, you
don't
watching
know.
like
I think
Stallone?
it's when I came back to nostalgia of Demolition Man,
Oh, okay.
and then I just started going back.
Weren't you watching Bruce Lee also, like, a lot longer?
Man, don't even get me started there. He's also one of the pioneers. I know almost everything about Bruce Lee.
Yeah, you told me about it last time I was here, about
Yeah.
the whole pole thing, and yeah.
So-
We're not going to get into that discussion again.
Guys, who would you like? Another one from Matthew. Who would you like to open for?
That's a tough question. Zeppelin, still.
That's a good one. I would want to open
For
for
all time?
Of all
Dead
time.
and alive? Michael Jackson.
Oh no! I can't even open. Ooh,
Open.
no.
And then leave and then watch the show for free.
Yeah.
It's Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson. I'd want to open for Prince.
That's a good one.
Just because we're all instrumental kind
Yeah.
of thing.
Prince would be a good one.
I would want to open for Prince.
And the Prince is crazy enough to call you on stage as well.
He would. He is very open.
Yeah.
Michael's a bit more of a diva. He prefers his
But you want
spotlight.
that, like, thing is, if you, like, have you watched the This Is It documentary, right?
I'm not saying I'm against it.
No,
I'm
no,
just saying in comparison.
I was gonna get to that point. You watched the This Is It documentary, right?
Of course.
So if you watch that, it's like he's on top of everything. He knows where he wants to go. And as a musician, you want that from a singer.
Right.
And like before, like every musician working in that room is under constant pressure. But I mean, you're working for Michael Jackson. You playing his songs.
Right.
So you know you have to be on your best game.
Absolutely. No.
And that brings the best out of you at the end of the day.
No. There's no question. Another question from Matthew.
Mini, slow down over there.
What is your creative process like?
Literally sitting in a room and something comes to me. People think it's like that's the thing I don't understand. People think that when musicians come up with something, it has to be this awesome story, like jump by a fish in the ocean and you smack me in the face. It's really nothing like that. It's really like just sitting in your room and then you playing around your instrument for like an hour, and then you play something and it comes to you. Literally, it's like not the biggest thing in the world.
Right.
But it's literally you have to push it. You have to sit down and you're gonna have to try to make
Now,
something.
are you talking like that with regards to your band and what you're gonna play, or are you talking about actually writing originals and stuff
I'm
like
talking
that?
about writing originals.
Writing originals. Right.
Yeah,
When are we gonna hear some originals
Yeah.
from Indecisive, man?
coming soon.
Coming soon. All right. We'll stay open for that. And Regan Zeke Johnson,
Yeah.
which I believe from your side, said, when can we get your autograph? I think people do selfies nowadays. I think that's more of a thing rather than autographs. That's very 1997.
Yeah, wait, yeah. Regan, be friend, just take a picture with me.
Yeah, if you, yeah. Yeah. Used to be the funny voices. What funny voices are you? Okay, let me get the camera back.
What kind of voices are you talking about?
Miss Lisa B, yeah, what funny voices are you actually talking about?
I
Anyway.
think it might have been the Stairway to Heaven backwards thing.
Oh. Next time we have a jam session, Miss Lisa B, I'll gladly explain it. Sharon Collar. Must be my side then. Robin Stevens, she asks, where do you see yourself musically in the next 5 years?
Look, so as I said earlier, I don't want to be famous. I dread the thought of that, so I want Indecisive to be the band that, you know, people can look to and say, reliable. And that's all I want. I want Indecisive to be the most reliable band in Cape Town. That you can call upon us for your events and we will be there and we will give you a good show. That's literally what I want. I don't want it to be a thing of, you know, being famous and I can't walk in polluted, for example. I don't want that. I want to be who I am right now and just be at a different level musically. I want to be the reliable band musically. That's what I want.
Yeah. I'm actually with you there. People's always telling me, like, again, don't forget us when you're famous. I'm not looking for fame. Yeah, sure, it would be great. You know, a bit of fame could be fun. But what I want more than fame, or I'm not. Yeah, I'm not seeking fame. I'm just seeking success.
Yeah. And that's what you want. I mean, I want to be as successful as possible in music.
Yeah.
Maybe make a decent living of it. But like as I said earlier, I like my privacy. I don't put much of myself on social media. And that's all I want. I want Indecisive to be the band to go to. That's it.
Yeah.
But I don't want you to know where I go to for lunch. I don't want you to know where I go to work. None of that stuff. I literally just want to be a good band. That's what I want Indecisive to be.
Exactly. I also said to people, I don't know if I'm actually going to make a living off this music thing. God willing, I'm hoping to do something with it, hopefully with the recording studio thing. So...
Oh, you can speak about it now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Remember the long time you said, nah, don't talk about it yet.
Well, yeah, no, I am a recording studio. It just hasn't been official until like toward the end of 2019.
Oh, okay.
Right? And I actually had a bit of a good start. I had some good influential people who actually came and recorded here. My band is not registered as per se yet, so I can get certain rights and all that. But it was just a privilege overall to have some people who have like hits on the radio.
Oh yeah.
Who came to record.
Like Salome was here as well.
Like Salome was here. I was gonna bring that up last, but I was gonna say that I had Brandon, Mr. B. Charles, and J-Man, his producer, were in here, and we recorded a couple of things. Go check that on YouTube, guys, or on the various platforms. I also had KB the Rapper and Young Goofy, who are just dropping insane things nowadays.
Insanely good.
I think they just brought out their latest video, Non-Stop. I think that's what it's called. And their last video was called Emo Adams.
Yeah, I've seen that. It's class. It's class. It's class video.
That was quite gimmicky. I liked it. And yeah, my biggest kind of person so far that I've had in my studio, not for actually coming here for me,
in the studio.
But she was still in the studio sitting where I'm sitting right now is, yes, Miss Salome Johansson. And she was in here singing It's Complicated.
Yes.
And I was like, man. Now it was also a bittersweet moment because that was also actually the very same day my grandmother passed away. But at the same time, I'm sure she would have been proud either way.
Yeah.
It was a really great night.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember you sending me that. I was like, and I remember messaging you back. I said, "You mother."
Yeah, you said this is the most opportunistic thing you've ever done.
I did say that. I remember messaging. I was like, "How did you do this?" But look at this. Like it's cool. Like it's cool to see where you started and where you are now.
Right.
Especially since I know you about 6-7 years, somewhere along like that.
Mm-hmm.
And there's always like come to my studio. When I first came here, there was one keyboard and one speaker. And now it's grown to what it is now. So it's class to see where you've come to.
Right.
So yeah, look, obviously Indecisive, we have to come in here one day. We have to. I don't think it's a matter of if it's when.
It's when. No, we already discussed it and agreed. I was just kind of busy at the time when you asked me to come record something for you guys. I do regret not coming, but I will.
No, there's going to be that point.
Lisa, Steven said, fill up Josh's glass. He looks thirsty.
Thank Lisa, appreciate it. There's actually no more juice.
Yeah, we out of Coke, and ice. That's very important. So Nathaniel Stanley, how do you balance your personal life? Okay, we already answered that.
Balance personal life with the
personal life and your music career.
Yeah, I think I kind of spoke about that already.
Keenan Shoulder, someone we know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, that's my cousin. That's his best friend.
That's one.
We didn't know that at the time. Like I didn't know that he was friends with my cousin. That's weird.
That is a really weird. Small world until it was a party. I think it was his grandfather's party.
Yeah, and then my dad was there, and then he told me that you were there. I was like, and I miss you. Like, why are you there? And
I'm like, no, Keenan is like my best brother for like.
I was like, what?
Like more than half my life. And Keenan says, give that man a bells. We're not doing bells. Keenan, we for legal reasons we are drinking Coke only.
Keenan, you can actually come bring a bells here if you do have. That would be great. Oh yes, forgot about that.
Mr. Ivan van der Merwe, yo Josh,
Okay, I haven't.
Have you got? Yeah, you got all the people from. Is this all the people from St. Anne's or
No, it's just like friends.
a whole lot of friends and family. Great to see you guys. By the way, please share.
Share the video.
Yes, share the video. Follow the Off Key Podcast on Instagram.
Follow Severo as well.
Follow Severo Music Studios. Follow Indecisive, and I'm sure you guys already do since you're here. But have you got any plans on doing some gospel? You
That
in
is
a
in the
church
work.
band,
Yeah, I'm in a church band.
but I mean probably with your band.
So that is one thing I wanted to do. So I want to look. Gospel has always had a certain way of how things have been done.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always been a certain sound. It's been like strumming guitars, violins, all that
Right.
type of thing. And that's your song's influence on that.
Yeah.
But obviously, I want to change the way the gospel is being done. I want to make it a bit more R&B type of thing. Even though that's been done in the States, but I want to make it a bit like a... If you hear the instrumental of it, you wouldn't think it's a gospel song.
Yes. No. That is.
And that's what a lot of people also are striving to do.
That is what a lot of people are striving to do, and even rearranging it into kind of more pop and things like that. It is actually awesome. I have a good friend. Her name is Shante Stemmet. She lives in the area here of Steenberg, and she is an amazing songwriter.
Yeah.
Actually, she's written a couple of things that I was thinking like, wow, this sounds pop-ish.
That's
But
gospel.
but I can see how
Is that the song I still did hear?
no.
No, what isn't that though?
No. Anyway, moving on. We got a bit of a compliment from Mr. Alroy Dick. That is from St. Anne's.
Yes,
Right? Congratulations to both of you, inspiring other young local musicians to pursue their dreams.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate that. Regan says, I can't sell a selfie, I can sell an autograph. Okay.
No, I love and hate my friends at the same time.
Yeah, I definitely also have a love-hate relationship with certain people. Zach Rousseau,
Oh, okay. That's my cousin.
how do you build chemistry with your band members? That is a good
That's a-
question.
That's a class question. So, the cool thing is that I'm friends with my band members.
Yeah.
So, they're building chemistry is already there, but musically, it's literally just...
No, that's a different thing
yeah,
altogether.
that's literally just about having the same mentality when it comes to
Ah.
playing. So, if you go into rehearsal session and you don't know what you're going to do and you don't know where the rehearsal session is going to go, that's a bad look on you. You can't just be going in there and just thinking things are going to fall together. It's not. And the way you build chemistry is literally by planning ahead. You need to know what you're going to do when you get into that rehearsal session. You need to know where you're going with each song. You need to know how many songs you're going to do that night. It's literally about being organized. And if you can be organized and you can lock in and you can all, how can I say, put this in a way that it's politically correct. If you can all like lock into the song and you can all get on board with something, that is how you build chemistry with people.
Right.
And from a musical sense, it's literally just about playing together more and more and more and more and understanding who musicians are around you.
Right.
So you can try to compensate with them and they can compensate for you, and you can all just bounce with each other left, right and center, and then you become a bit more of a unit.
That's true. To keep your band as a unit is probably one of the hardest things in the world. I've tried 1 or 2 times to form a band, but I wouldn't consider myself really the best leader. I'm good at organizing things, but I don't ever like to put myself in a sort of front line.
Yeah.
With music and emotion, that whatever, like again, I just say I put it together. I wouldn't call myself the leader or the whatever. I wouldn't put that kind of title to it.
That is a very chilled out process also for music and motion, because you literally tell us what you want to play and we sing to the songs and it's like, cool, done.
Yeah, I try to keep it very casual because I want everyone to have their best kind of foot forward, because I came to them because a lot of people come to me and say like, wow, you really blew my mind. So when I go to events and I see other people that blow my mind, I want to put us all together on one stage. How great would that be? But I mean, with a band, it's so hard you would not believe. It's keeping everyone motivated. It's making sure everyone practices, finding a venue, keeping everyone happy, making sure everyone's on the same mindset that this is going to be a process.
Yeah.
A lot of people have different mindsets. We want to be paid because it's because I've been playing for 20 years or things like that, and this is my worth, whatever. Fair enough, but I mean, when you come to a band, when you form a new band, you're starting just like everyone else.
Because like ego has to be set aside as well. That's the big thing.
That
if
is.
you can put the ego aside you're not meant for a band. I'm sorry. Like, you're meant to be a solo act, which is fine. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with being in a band either. But if you come into a band, you have to put all ego aside, and you have to realize that you are dealing with other people at the same time. You're not just dealing with yourself now. You have to think about how other people feel, their emotions, their feelings have to go into it as well. Be taken into account. You can't just make decisions on behalf of other people because they might not like that.
Yeah.
And literally keeping people motivated is so hard. Like, I don't consider myself the leader of Indecisive. I think that I speak the most and I do more of this type of interview type thing and these podcasts, but I don't consider myself the leader when I get into the rehearsal session. I literally consider myself another member. All ego has to be left at the door, and like the guys and I will say the same to each other. Look, leave your ego aside. And we've had talks and fights about this where it's like, you're not putting in the effort, you're not giving us 100%, and that's what wakes someone up as well.
Right.
Once they hear that, like for our guys in particular, once they hear that, it's like, okay, nah, I have to keep up with what they're doing.
Exactly. You can take it in a bad one, or it could be a wake up call.
And this is the cool thing about us being friends, is that you can say this to them. And
Right.
it's not coming at them as another person, you're coming at them as a homie.
Yeah.
And you can tell them that, look, you're not putting in the effort. And if you tell them that, it's like, okay, maybe I'm the problem, maybe other people aren't. And I've been called out before, the guys have been called out before, so it's nothing personal.
Yeah.
It's literally just me as a friend coming up to me and telling you, we need you.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be like, and I don't think any of the band members would be hard on each other if we didn't believe in each other.
No, exactly. I also, if you didn't believe in it, you wouldn't keep coming back to rehearsals and that, you know. And because you're homies, you should be at least open enough to say that, look, I'm not looking for any special treatment here.
Yeah.
But something's not happening. I'm not feeling a certain something.
Yeah.
Right.
And we should be able to say that. If you're not feeling it, you should be able to say it. And none of us, like, we speak on a daily basis. We always keep each other updated with how everyone's
By the way,
doing.
this guy's being pretty modest. I actually say to this guy all the time, he's a pretty proficient leader.
Yeah.
Right? We've had a couple of jam sessions here, and I can always just leave it up to this guy when he has ideas. I'm like, you know, go for it.
Look, but I don't, like, it's the thing. I
And
don't
this,
consider myself.
and this guy also just so why I also brought him here. He always just says nice things about me in the studio. That comes from nowhere.
Look, so look, the thing is, as I said, I don't consider myself the leader in the rehearsal session. The reason being is because I can't do a lot of what everyone else in that rehearsal session can do. I can't do a lot of what Alex can do on bass, what Jared can do on guitar, what Ethan can do on keyboard, what Manny can do on drums. I can't do any of that.
Right.
So they're gonna have to lead in other ways. Everyone, if you've been to a rehearsal session before,
Yeah.
it's literally not. It's very more often than not. It's not one person leading it.
Right.
It's always like, well, if it's a good band and the band that get along, it's always, why did we throw this in? Well, I don't like that. Maybe we try this out. Okay, let's try that idea out first and try my idea out. Well, then it'll be like, okay, yeah, right, my idea didn't work out. I will try that idea rather.
Sure.
And it's always like a give and take, like throwing ideas out and seeing what sticks, seeing what doesn't stick. And that's the whole part of being a band. That's the fun part of it, is that you get to experiment. And the cool thing about the rehearsal session is that you do it behind closed doors. So if you do mess up, no one sees it. But if you do get something right, it's like, I can't wait to show what we actually have in store for them.
Right.
And that's the fun thing about being in band, is that the energy that we all feel with each other at a gig or at a rehearsal session, it's something that you can't explain unless you are there.
Yeah. No, it's exactly. Unless you gel with everyone, you know, you can be with a couple of bands, but every single one is going to be a different experience.
Exactly.
Right.
Could be playing the same songs, even it's going to be a very different experience.
I was going to actually bring up that point exactly. Mr. Chad Hetzer, my bro. Nice to see you. Chad
Hi,
Hetzer, another very talented guitarist. He also shreds on electric.
Okay, I want to meet this guy.
And he also has this angelic voice, bro.
Okay, we have to meet up at some point.
Angelic, and as well as his sister, and it's actually and his older brother as well. They're all kind of musical. It is just unfair.
Open
sometimes.
invitation to jam.
Yeah, yeah. His brothers on the drums, I believe, but they actually very multi instrumentalists.
Okay.
Jack Hesse, come prepared to rehearsals. What was that referring to, Chad?
Yeah, that I think that maybe has to do with how do you connect with the band members.
Right. Okay, Mr. Bryce Alice.
Bryce,
Any tips for getting gigs? That's actually something you came to me with.
yes, I came to him about like a year ago too. So It's hard. So nowadays, social media is the big thing. I will be first to say that I also like Indecisive social media has not been the greatest in the world, and I take responsibility for that. It's literally about pumping up your social media's numbers and putting yourself out there. In order to get paid, you have to not get paid.
Yeah.
So do a free gig, go into
Yep.
open mic nights,
You
go
have-
into striped horse week, get like paid like $50 in a beer. That's literally what you have to do.
Yeah. Literally everyone. We first have to prove ourselves before we actually determine. Because the thing is, it's hardly you majority of the time that determines your worth.
Yeah.
It's other people, and more often than not, it's usually not what we expected. It's usually under.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's the difference sometimes. Are you doing it for the love of the music, or are you really wanting to get paid? I have gigs where I go to where I'm like, no, this is really sucking. I just want to finish, get paid, because that's the satisfaction I'm going to walk away with.
Yeah.
Other times I just totally enjoyed it. I wasn't too worried about the cash at all.
And that's the fun gigs was the funnest gig I played was
The free ones.
hey? Was the free ones to be fair. Look,
No.
because I went there with the intention of I'm not gonna get paid here, so I might as well have fun doing it.
No.
But then you go to pay gigs with the opposite mindset, like I'm gonna get paid here, so I'm not gonna have fun.
Same with me. Keen and shoulder. Finally a question for me. Actually, both of us.
Okay.
But which gigs did you enjoy the most and why?
So the best ones are the ones not where I don't like a quiet crowd. I like a lively crowd. I like when people are hyped up. So the best one I could say we played was last year when we played our first Striped Toes gig.
Uh-huh.
It is literally just 4 guys. Myself, Alex on bass, Manny on drums, and our buddy Nathaniel's actually in the comments playing keys. The 4 of us doing instrumentals. And the energy in that Striped Toes, I don't know if you've been to Striped Toes, it's a very small place.
I haven't been there, but I've seen many people who have actually.
It's small. It's cramped up.
I saw like the entranceway is pretty much the main.
Yeah.
you come in the front door. There's the main area.
Basically, but it's very small, and it was about 20 people there, 20, 30 people there,
Right.
and it was pumping, and like I don't know. I think we all walked away with about $70 at night and a beer.
Right.
But it was a fun gig, like it was pumping, like everyone was having fun. That's the ones I enjoy the most because it's the energy you feel from the crowd and they give it back to you. That's fun. I enjoy those type of gigs.
That is what you seek as a musician is the appreciation from the people.
Yeah, but it's just like power. I mean, you could tell like people in the crowd, yo, give me a shout, and they will shout. It's like, okay, this is. I didn't ask for this.
Yeah, they had enough drinks they'll do friggin' anything.
That's the whiskey shouting.
Right. Chad Kaiser says, I don't shoot it, bro. And Alex gave you approval. That gig was fire.
That gig was class. You know it was class. So I gave you a solo also there. I told the people, give you a hand.
Yeah.
Because this one, literally, we were playing the song Keep Forgetting by Michael McDonald.
Right.
It's dooms, 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 doom, doom, doom. And I see my Manny playing it.
Right.
And I told myself, Nathaniel and I were playing guitar and keys. I was like, don't play anything. And they would just keep going. And I told the crowd, give these guys a hand. Because it was like, you know how it's like when you rehearse and it sounds good? But when you get on stage, it feels better.
It's amplified, yeah.
Yeah, it's not about the sound, it's about the feeling of it. And I was feeling that the way they were playing that night.
Exactly. Now, that's one thing that, a lot of people forget when, as performers. Take a singer, for example.
Yeah.
There's a difference between singing a song and performing a song, right? You chose a favorite song to sing to the people because when you heard it and you sang it, it gave you a certain feeling. Now, if you don't have that same feeling when you're doing it, when you're performing it, when you're just singing it, you're singing it, then people can be quick to point out what was wrong about it and whatever. But if you're feeling it, and you take those people on that journey with you, they're very quick to look over, well, maybe what the faults were.
Yeah, people don't care.
Because if you don't feel it, you can't expect other people to feel it.
It was just said that people don't care what you said, they care about how you made them feel.
Right.
And if you can make people, if they don't see the mistakes you make and they feel good about the gig itself, that's all you need. That's all I want. I don't care if I play 50,000 wrong notes. As long as the people leave, they're satisfied. That's all I'm worried about.
50,000 wrong notes.
Yeah.
Are you playing all augmented and diminished stuff here?
Yeah, I don't even know what that means, but yeah, let's go to that.
Brush up on your music theory, man. Stuff that like you can just say almost like it's a jazz trick,
Yeah,
stuff
like
that fits in the scale that's actually not supposed to be there because it's erased.
yeah, I probably play. I know what diminished chords and augmented
Yeah,
chords. I just
yeah,
don't
exactly.
understand the
Oh,
theory
anyway.
behind it.
But if I'm able to answer my favorite gig and why, dude, you're talking about a lot of gigs here.
Yeah.
Do you wanna maybe narrow it down for me?
I think the St. Anne's one is the big one. That is my favorite performance of yours. Still.
Okay, like now I'm talking narrowed down as in like maybe my favorite something of.
Okay, let's go favorite.
I have favorite experiences of a lot of things. Going to people's houses, playing poolside, playing for. I played for this. This was kind of weird, and I'm not really in contact with the people now, and I'm sure, and you won't find out who they are because this was actually before the time I really started recording all my gigs and that, and our podcast is about to come to an end. People say if you have any final questions, now would be the time. But I actually went to, it was somewhere in Constantia. I can't remember what the area is called now. But I was hired by this gentleman on Valentine's Day.
Okay.
Right. And then, so I was just, and I've done this before, I was just there to be sort of background, not as so much as a performer, just to kind of set the mood kind of thing. So I was out in they had say now this is the lounge like where we in, and outside the door here is like the outside sitting area,
Yeah.
balcony kind of vibe, a little grassland and that is there, and it was getting like dark. I had my speakers outside, whatever. I was setting the tone, right? So they were just enjoying themselves, but at the same time, they were like saying, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "No, I'm good, thanks. No, just tend to yourselves. No worries about me." And as well they did. And and at one point the gentleman then came to me and said, "So you did your job, man. So it's Valentine's Day."
Oh.
So I was there.
Okay.
He's like, "You did your job." And so I'm like,
Wow.
"Okay, so time for me to pack up." He's like, "Yep, thank you so much."
Okay, I got dark. Okay, fine. Okay, then we're going. I didn't know you can go that dark. Chapter, what was the name of the radio show that's going on?
Chapter 1 radio.
Chapter 1, that's not me. Blame the host.
Okay, that's all the detail I'm gonna give. Make of it what you must. Chad Jesus says, "Cool discussion. I'm really glad you think so, guy. Because I also want you in here as well. Because I got a handful of questions for you, and I've already told you about it. So don't be surprised when I give you that call."
So what are you playing that Valentine's Day gig? Like bubblegum pop songs or like what are you doing?
I hate to say it, but I mean, they asked me for mostly Kenny G,
Clearly.
but I didn't give them all Kenny G. And I only gave them 2 because it's the only 2 that I really play.
Yeah.
I have all of them. I know how to play all of them, but it's only 2 I like
I mean,
to
also
play.
like it's boring to play the same artist over and over again.
Because I mean, the thing is, Kenny G, when you look at it as a musician, it's all almost sounds almost the same,
Yeah.
right?
Yes, it has a certain style.
I was gonna say he has a certain sound, certain style.
No, this is the funny thing. Like,
and he got big time for that. He was the biggest selling jazz and instrumental artist for many years. But many wouldn't really consider it jazz. He
Yeah.
made his own thing called smooth jazz.
but that's the thing that Grover Washington Jr. as well. He also suffered the same fate because people are like, that's not jazz. Like the jazz heads were saying the same thing about him.
Yeah, arguably they would.
Yeah.
Arguably they would, and I was part of it.
Yeah,
I was part of it.
Speaking of the whole Kenny G thing, my dad is not a musician at all, and I played him the Kanye song with Kenny G. And when when Kenny G solo came on, I played it, and I asked my dad, "Who's this?" He picked up like within 2 seconds. "Oh, this is Kenny G," because he has that style of play,
Right.
and that's what every musician wants. If you can get the style of play that people know, I mean, that's like the point. That's if you can just be recognizable. I mean, that's what people. That's what you strive to be.
Yeah. Okay. Last 2 questions before we conclude. Nathaniel Stanley, best advice for someone trying to get into the industry.
I'm not trying to get into the industry, so I'm not the guy to ask. But it's literally, I think, putting yourself out there, knowing who you are as a musician. I think that's a big thing. If you don't know who you are as a musician, how can you get other people to know who you are as a musician?
It is difficult because every musician, whether a band or whatever, we try and find something called our sound, finding your sound, and that some people are truly talented in finding their sound immediately.
Yeah, some people are good at it. Like Michael Jackson found his sound from the get-go,
and he kept changing it and
that's
made
the
it
thing.
his.
He was 10, 15 years into the future, and the beginning was doing bubblegum pop, as I refer to it, and ended up doing a neo soul album, Invincible. Like he was, if you listen to the neo soul album now, it's like, oh, this could fit into 2021. This could be a 2021 album.
Yeah, it could. It was like when Justin Timberlake brought out his album. What was it called? Was it called 2020 or something like that?
2020 Vision.
2020 Vision.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, all the songs were like 7 minutes long.
Yeah, but it was quiet. I enjoyed it.
It was so different, whatever. But I mean, you can go on to it all night.
But does that have to do with Justin Timberlake, or does that have to do with the people that produced it as well, like Rick Rubin and Timbaland?
It's a mix of it. But either way, it's still it transcended.
Yeah.
Okay, last question here. Do you plan on doing? But you already do. Okay, but I don't know about your band. So for Mr. Ivan van der Merwe, do you plan on doing a rock?
Yes. So we are, as you see, we are still trying to find our sound. There's a lot of influence that I've had as a musician from, if you go on my phone right now, there's literally Slipknot and there's Hillsong right next to that. So
Slipknot.
Yeah, like it goes that bad, like Slayer and Rammstein, and it's like heavy rock stuff. But then you also get like delicate melodies as well. Like you get stuff like, I don't know, Kenny G, for example. Let's go back to this. Kenny G's been brought up a lot. I think it's more relevant now in this conversation than ever before. So you get so you have stuff.
Ever been spoken about Kenny G?
Yeah.
In one session.
But then there's like Careless Whisper on my phone as well, and then there's like that type of ballads. So we still trying to figure out our sound, but I want rock to be a part of what our sound is. From what I'm trying to figure out, what we might go into is maybe, I don't know if you heard the Maroon 5 album, Songs About Jane. Probably. Maybe, but if you listen to that album, it's like heavy rock stuff on it, but it's ballads as well. Right. And it's like cool instrumental like stuff on there as well. So that's like sort of what I think we should be leaning towards, because it's like heavy rock. It's like proper open cymbals and washing cymbals and heavy snares, big bass drums, guitar riffs, big distortion. But it's also like She Will Be Loved on there as well.
Right.
So that's more or less the idea that I'm going for.
Okay, very interesting. Ladies and gentlemen, I wouldn't say we ran out of time. I could go on all evening if I could, but my battery life on this thing only gives me so long. So I mean, we only planned to do about 45 minutes, but I think we went to about an hour 10.
Did we?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, that's normal. I'm not surprised.
And like I knew it would happen, this man pretty much took the floor. And I mean, that's why I brought the man in, because I knew if I just put any sort of proposal in front of him, any sort of question in front of him, he'll take it to shreds by the little or the much that he knows. Ladies and gentlemen, I truly thank you for tuning in for our very first pilot episode of the Off Key podcast, and the biggest thanks to you, Mr.
Thank you for having me.
Josh Peters, and everyone who supports Indecisive Band. Is that what it's called? It's just called Indecisive.
Indecisive. We just launched a YouTube channel. It's called Indecisive Inc. You can follow us there. Our first video is up already. We're going to be posting videos every Saturday, so starting from tomorrow. When the gigs do start again, we're going to be posting vlogs and behind the scenes rehearsal footage. Also, our Instagram page is indecisive_inc, and then our Facebook page will be indecisive2020. You can get us there.
No need to ask if you wanted a plug-in, but he took it away right there. I didn't even propose it. You see what I mean? Why I bring in this guy all the time? I can always depend on him. And we're probably going to have another hour or two conversation until the lockdown says, we got to go home.
Yeah.
But ladies and gentlemen, if you did not catch this episode live like you are now, it will soon be coming to my YouTube channel. That is Severo Music Studios on YouTube. But we also have another platform, Chapter 1 Radio. So follow them on Instagram and on Facebook. So thank you to John from Chapter 1 Radio for providing this platform to have a much broader outreach for my project. ladies and gentlemen, it's at the peak. I think we had just more than 20 people at one time, which I actually consider great for my first
No,
episode.
there will be more.
And I thank you for bringing the audience,
No, anytime.
to us. And I hope everyone continues to support and watch this channel, because on this segment we are not it's not an interview. As you saw, we were just having a conversation, like a lot of our creative people do when anything is kind of brought up. I mean, we could have gone on to conspiracy theories, and that would have been, I would have had to have, a couple of reserve batteries and a
Yeah.
whole lot more data.
Yeah.
But that we will save for another time, not on camera.
Yeah.
Because
Come to the studio.
yeah. But I keep saying the thank yous, but I cannot thank everyone enough. Yeah, that is pretty much it from me. Keep following. Everyone, please remain in good health. Everyone, please just take care of each other. Wear your mask. We're not wearing a mask, but we made sure we have a social distance, and we do sort of have a mask. We have these pop filters in front of us that that prevents the spit and everything else from going everywhere. I hope everyone enjoyed this podcast today. Please leave comments, like you've been doing already, and I'll be happy to attend to it. But for now, everyone, have a fantastic weekend from me, from Severo Music Studios, from Josh, Indecisive. We're out for now. Have a
See you
great
guys.
weekend.
Enjoy.
Bye.